I started telling people that I was going to win. And I had other synchronicities, interesting things happen where people told me, look, if anybody's going to win the lottery, it's going to be you. And I had some other things happen the night that I won, such as this color-coded card game that I played. I'm partially colorblind and I can't see certain shades of magenta, but I got practically every game right. And I was telling people, waving the ticket around, telling people, I have the winning ticket right here.
Hey, everybody, like what you see, Luxe Life with Candice Bar or any of the Luxe Media Studios shows, make sure you subscribe and click the like below. Hey, everybody, welcome to Luxe Life. I'm your host, Candice Bar, and like every show, I am so excited for today's show. We have Tim Schultz with us. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
So I am excited to have you because I've been watching your shows like crazy for the last few months. That's like all that plays, your show and one other show, and that's all that plays in my house. And I don't know how I stumbled upon you, but I'm glad I did.
Wow. Well, I'm glad too. I want to be in your house. That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you.
Can you please let everyone know what your show is about? Because I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. So my name is Timothy Schultz, and I host a podcast, Lottery, Dreams, and Fortune. And I interview I am a lottery winner. If you're not familiar with my story, I know that you are, Candice, but some people are not. And I am a lottery winner, but I'm interviewing other lottery winners, but not only lottery winners, people that have overcome the odds in life, people that have also people that are very much into the power of our intuition and manifestation and that sort of thing, which I find particularly interesting. Not everybody I interview is into that, but quite a few people are. And so that's what I'm doing and covering lottery news. I'm on YouTube. And I have this podcast as well, which the video portion of the podcast is on YouTube as well.
I love it. And so, and I love your shows because I'm very into manifestation. Everyone know, like, I have the multimedia company, the PR company. I just wrote a book called Believing Before Seeing. It's all about manifestation, power of the mind, visualization, all of that stuff. That's why I was attracted to your show, because a lot of the people that you have in your show talk about that and how they really manifested winning the lottery, because it is a real thing. I don't care what anyone says. It's a real thing and it does work. And so I wanted to kind of talk about your story. And I actually haven't heard your story. Funny enough, I've heard several other people's stories that you've had on, but I haven't heard your story. So I'd like to hear your journey and story of winning the lottery, and if you use manifestation for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my journey of winning the lottery, I won when I was 21 years old. And so I was, pretty young. And one of the youngest winners in the United States, and I believe in the world. And when it happened, a few months prior to it happening, 3 or 4 months prior to it happening, I had a very vivid dream that I had already won the lottery. And it convinced me. It was so real. I woke up and it took a little bit to understand that it had not happened. Like, it was very, very real to me. And so I felt that after this dream that I was convinced that it was going to happen. I started telling people it was going to happen. And a lot of people, some people thought, oh, that Tim, he's just, there he goes again. But I honestly believed it because I had other dreams that were similar, not about the lottery, but about other subjects that had come true. And so I started telling people that I was going to win. And I had other synchronicities, interesting things happen where people told me, look, if anybody's going to win the lottery, it's going to be you. And I had some other things happen the night that I won, such as this color-coded card game that I played. I'm partially colorblind and I can't see certain shades of magenta. Okay. And it was just a guessing game with these colors, but I got practically every game right. And I was telling people and waving the ticket around, telling people, I have the winning ticket right here. And this is as the drawing
Wow.
was happening. And so I went to sleep. First of all, I sold the ticket to myself because I worked at a gas station. So I guess that's backing up a little bit. But
Okay.
um, after this night was over, I woke up the next morning. I had this other dream that it was signified. It was the end of a theater act, the end of a show. If you go to a play, that sort of thing, like the end of
Mm.
this act, the curtain came down right as this happened in this dream. Like literally, right when this happened, my father banged on my bedroom door and he said, "Tim, get up! You sold the winning Powerball ticket." And did you buy a ticket last night? He asked this because he knew that from time to time I bought tickets. And
Yeah.
I thought to myself, yes, I did. I I did. Not only did I buy one, I was telling everybody I was going to win. I believed that I was going to win. I was like, maybe I actually won. Maybe I just started freaking out and looking everywhere, rummaging through papers. Like I wasn't the most organized person at the time and I couldn't find the ticket anywhere. So I was sort of in a
Yeah.
panic and I finally found it and it was crumpled up in a little ball and I unraveled it. And this was 1999. So
Okay.
the internet was not what it is today. So what I did was I took the ticket and I compared the numbers to the newspaper. And the numbers, of course, they matched, but it was just so surreal to have that happen. I felt like I was in the Matrix or something because I had this dream and all these other experiences. And then it really happened. And it felt like I was living in a movie. And so my father was there and we hugged each other and sort of jumped up and down like little kids in a candy store. And it was just really surreal. It was just
Yeah.
really crazy.
Did you freak out? Just like couldn't breathe, like felt like you're having a heart, like what is going on?
Oh, the level of euphoria, the level of
Yes.
adrenaline,
Yes.
it was just, it was really, I mean, it's really, really crazy. I
Yeah.
couldn't hold still. I couldn't hold still. I just had to keep walking around. It's really hard. It took a while to calm down. I don't even know how I
Yes.
slept that night or if I did, but not
Completely
much.
like your life just changed, completely life changing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It turned my life on its head. It was sort of like the before and the after. I was the same person, but
Mm.
for me it was extremely life-changing. And it
Mm.
is for a lot of people that I meet and interview and people, do win. I meet people all the time that do win and interview them. And some of those people have dreams about it. Some people
Yeah.
believe that they have manifested it. Not
Yeah.
everybody believes that, but I find it particularly interesting when I meet other people that have had similar experiences because it does happen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can I ask how much what your winning was?
It was a 28 million annuitized jackpot.
Amazing. Did
Mhm.
you quit your job at the gas station that day?
No, so one of the first things we did was call a financial advisors, attorneys, people
Yeah.
that were friends of the family that were doing this. That's what they did and what their experience was, and we trusted them, which was a
Mm.
big thing. It's like, who are you going to trust? And they said the
Mhm.
first thing you should do is put the ticket somewhere safe, like a safety deposit box. So that's what we did and put
Mm.
it in a safety deposit box. And
Mhm.
that was a little nerve wracking because
Mhm.
I'm sure no one else knew what was happening, but still, it was like a little piece of paper worth.
I know. I would want it like on my person.
Yeah. So,
Amazing.
yeah. And
When did you quit your job?
sh- shortly thereafter, I think
Yeah.
I went in 1 or 2 more days
Yeah.
and because we wanted to get our ducks in a row and kind of know, how to, what we're going to do with it. Where I won it was a big story and you couldn't claim it anonymously. So it wasn't really a choice.
Uh
And so
uh
I was the type of person that went into work every single, like I would never, ever miss
Yeah.
work. I worked 40 to 60 hours a week, a little over minimum wage at a
Yeah.
gas station, just trying to put myself through college. That's what I was trying to do. But I worked a lot. I had a really hard work ethic. And if I wasn't going to show up, like if I did not show up, and people would know because
Yeah.
they knew I sold
Yeah.
the ticket. And it was like if
Mhm.
he didn't show up, then it'd be obvious. So I wanted to be the one to, you know, I was advised anyway to have control over that and
Right.
get my ducks in a row financially and everything before doing that.
Right.
Mhm.
Amazing. So what was the first thing you got for yourself that you always wanted and now you can get it?
The first thing that I purchased after winning the lottery was I was 21 years old, so it was the latest greatest video game system.
Okay.
It was at the time it was a Nintendo NES, I think is what it was.
Okay.
And so it was, I mean, it's something I could not afford prior to that,
Yeah.
when I was working at the gas station. So for me, it was a dream to get this video game system. And so I played the Zelda, the rocked out the
Yes.
Zelda and some
Yes.
some other games. But yeah, for me that was the first purchase, which was kind of funny in retrospect. But I was 21, and that's where my mindset
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. You're still a child at that time. I know you asked this a lot in your show, but I'm going to ask you. So when that all went down and that all happened, which is amazing, were there people in your life that kind of fell off, or like you had to kind of like disassociate because they had a different feeling toward you now?
Well, I had some really hard lessons to learn after winning the lottery. When you, at least for me, I really had nothing but positive. My mentality was like, if I win the lottery, I'll do all these positive things. When I first had
Yeah.
this dream about it, my thought in the dream, my initial thought was, now I can pay off my debt. I can pay off my vehicle. This is amazing. I'm so
Yeah.
happy. That's where my mindset was. But then after it happened, not immediately, but shortly thereafter, some relationships with family, most people were very supportive. So I don't want to throw
Yeah.
anybody under the bus, but there were some relationships with family that were pretty much damaged and ruined, with at least a couple people that were family, because they you know it's just, it gets weird. There's two
Yeah. Did they
perspectives.
did
There's
they feel like did they feel like, well, now that you have all this, you should be taking care of us as well?
exactly,
Okay.
because if you for some people it was, most people were very supportive, I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is true. But you know, some a couple people viewed it as, well, you just got lucky. You did not earn this. You just
Oh,
got
interesting.
lucky. So it's
Interesting.
different. It was viewed differently, and it is viewed differently by some people if you win a lottery jackpot, rather than, I earned this by being a CEO of a company. I earned this by
Yeah.
doing this. Instead, I earned this by, getting lucky on the slot machine. I earned
Yeah.
this at a casino. I earned this winning the lottery. That's viewed differently by some people. There's not the same level. Not all lottery winners feel this way. Not everyone will say this, but there's not always the same level of respect, at least with some people.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
and another thing that was, that I found interesting is that my peers, of course, were not in a similar place, especially at the age of 21. Most of my
Yeah.
peers are just trying to put themselves through college.
Right.
And so immediately I became an outlier, which is okay. But
Mm.
if I wanted to go on vacation or celebrate or do anything to, fun like that, I had to pay for
Yeah.
other people. I had to pay for
Yeah.
other people because they couldn't afford it. And that's just a
Right.
microcosm of other things. You go out to dinner with people. Who's going to pay? Oh, well, I just won the lottery. I'll pay. And
Right.
there's
Right.
there's an extent to that, which is okay, but you have to
You can't do
be
it every time, all the time for everyone.
right, right.
Right.
And I think I realized early on, after speaking with financial advisors, like, what I could afford to spend and what I could not afford to spend, how much I could afford to help other people and how much
Yeah.
I could not. And I didn't want to deviate from that because I didn't want to be financially irresponsible. I helped a lot of people. I felt sorry for a lot of people, but I also
Yeah.
believe that there's something shortly after I won that I saw on the news. Someone was being interviewed about this phrase, sudden wealth syndrome. It's like, what is
Mm,
that? What is this person
mm,
talking about? Sudden wealth syndrome. And
mm,
so I looked it up, and it's a psychological term that affects some people that come across sudden wealth. And one
mm.
of the one of the characteristics of that is feeling guilty for even coming
Having
across it.
money.
Yeah, and
Right.
I felt that way for a little. I don't feel that way now, but when I first won, I felt that way a little bit because my peers, practically everybody around me, most people anyway, didn't have that kind of money. So I just felt like, why am I so lucky and all these people I love and care about are not? I can't
Right.
I helped a lot of people as much as I could, but I couldn't save the world because there's so
Right.
much disparity. So, you know, there was a lot of that going on in my head. So I guess
Mm,
that at times was very painful. And I know that's a
mm.
lot of sudden wealth syndrome is something that a lot of people would like to be afflicted by. They would like to have that problem. But so I'm not
Well,
trying,
it's a real thing, and it can
Mhm.
and does happen, and I think it's worth being talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting. And it's definitely something that I dealt with for a while. And I even had to move from where I was because I felt uncomfortable being around
Wow.
people knew my story. I moved away from all of my friends, all of
Right.
my family. I just kind of started a new life, and I just, now
Mm,
I am more open about talking about it, but it was
mm.
just the time, it was really an adjustment. And
And
I didn't change.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I didn't change as a person, but
Yeah.
it it took a while to learn how to navigate relationships with people because some people, it changed their perception of me. It wasn't just
Yeah.
here's Timothy. It's Timothy the lottery winner or
Right.
Timothy the so I even felt at times like a walking talking ATM machine because
Yes.
some people I felt just viewed me as a dollar sign rather than as a person.
Right.
So most people did not, but some people did, and to me that was very foreign. So
Yeah.
it was a
I can
learning curve.
imagine how that could be for sure.
Mm.
And like you're like expected to pay for things, you're expected to do things. Um, but like that you don't necessarily have to or need to just because of that.
Believing Before Seeing, a new bestseller by Candice Bar. Order your copy today.
Yeah, that's true. And I've interviewed a couple other lottery winners that I've interviewed have had similar experiences with that.
Mm,
And not everybody, but and there's so many variables, how much you win and how much you
right.
have beforehand, like where you're
Right.
at in life. If you're already wealthy and you win the
Yeah.
lottery, that might be a little different than being 21 years old
Right.
and working for minimum wage and winning the lottery.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I wanted to have you on my show, one, because I think it's a fascinating story and I love interviewing fascinating people. And two, because I want to have you on my show because you will be interviewing me on your show shortly.
Oh, I look forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I want to put that out there
I
because
love it.
I'm a huge manifester and I'm very much into that. I wanted to get kind of into the psychology of manifesting with you and just how you do it. And because I know you believe in it, obviously, and a lot of people on your show talk about it all the time. They talk about visualizing winning the lottery. I remember Cynthia. I know Cynthia was a big deal in your show, and she would talk about manifesting, winning the lottery, and I know you had someone on your show as well, the science of manifesting. So I want to talk about that part of it with you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's manifesting I mean, it's extremely fascinating. And
Mm,
so I've interviewed several lottery winners who strongly believe in it. And when I started this YouTube channel and this podcast, I had a lot of people tell me, they're like, look, you manifested that win. And I did not know what manifestation was.
Mm,
I didn't know what it was. And
mm.
so that inspired me to start researching and I've read a few books about it, and I've done a lot of research, and I've obviously interviewed a lot of people that are experts on it, as well as lottery winners and other people that have won various prizes that strongly believe in it. And I find it extremely fascinating.
So I want to talk about manifestation, mindset, visualization, because you have that a lot with on your show with lottery winners talking about that. And I wanted to get into kind of the whole mindset and science of that with you.
Yeah, it's extremely fascinating, manifestation and the law of attraction. Of course, most people are familiar with The Secret because it's been so popular in our culture. But I've interviewed several lottery winners who strongly believe in it, prize winners, people that have achieved various things. Not everybody necessarily that I interview is into that, but a lot of people really are. And I've interviewed a couple scientists on that topic as well. And when I won the lottery back in the day, I did not know manifestation. I did not know what manifestation was.
Yeah.
So I had this dream that convinced me that it was going to happen. It was, in my subconscious mind. And I believed that it was going to happen. I told people that it was going to happen. I imagined what it would be like. I took action buying a ticket. So because I did all these things, you tell me, is that manifestation? I've had scientists tell me that they believe that is a form of manifestation, but I'm not here to
I
say,
believe it is because, like you just
yeah,
said, it's in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful tool. It's incredibly strong. That's what creates everything. So even if your logical mind may not believe it or you talk yourself out of it, it's still already set in there.
yeah, yeah. It's really interesting when that happened. I mean, it happened to me, so I love meeting and interviewing other people that has happened to. And
Yeah.
I've since studied quite a bit on manifestation, so I understand it very well now. But at the time, I didn't know necessarily what it was. That doesn't mean I wasn't visualizing, I wasn't acting as if, I wasn't feeling
Right.
as if, I wasn't dreaming, like it was in my subconscious mind. All of these things were happening. And then it happened in real life. So it was really crazy and surreal when it did.
I mean, I really think that's so amazing. I had a question for you. When you bought your ticket, did you buy one line or did you buy several?
I purchased one line, and
Wow.
when I did play, I just played one at a time because I always felt, and I still feel this way to this day because it's true, it only takes one ticket to win. And as a former gas station clerk way back in the day, when the jackpot would get super high, there would be lines out the door of people wanting to buy tickets.
Yes.
Like, because when it gets higher, it becomes more popular.
Yes.
It gets a lot more media attention, and you see the giant jackpot, and you're like, I'm going to try my luck at this. But some people will buy hundreds of tickets at a time.
Wow.
And yeah. And so I felt and still feel that it really only takes one ticket for a chance. Like, you have practically the same chance if you're talking about one of these big games like Powerball and Mega Millions in the United States. Those are the largest ones in this country.
Mhm.
But if you're talking about one of these large games like this, buying hundreds of tickets versus one ticket, you're not really changing anything. And I felt that, look, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I only need
Yes.
one for a chance. And I
Yes.
couldn't really afford more than that anyway, because I was working
Yeah.
at a gas station, and I don't,
Yeah.
that's why I always try to tell people, play responsible, only spend what you can afford and have fun with it. It only takes one for a chance. You don't need
Yes.
hundreds. Yeah,
I
it should
love
be
this.
yeah.
I love talking about this too because, people who don't believe that they can win or if it's a real thing or whatever, my answer is always, well, people win every single day. So might as well be you.
Yeah, it has to be
I mean,
somebody.
you've interviewed hundreds of people who won, so clearly someone's winning. You've won.
Yeah, I mean, try telling a lottery winner that you can't win the lottery.
Right.
People are winning, but just people actually sometimes they think I'm an actor or they think that I'm being paid by the lottery, and
Oh,
that
interesting.
couldn't be further from the truth because
Yeah.
I'm not here to try to promote the lottery. I'm just being authentic and it's part of my life story. And obviously meeting other people that have won, and it is possible. It absolutely is, and people do win. You just have to
Yeah.
play responsibly and don't spend more than you can afford, and just have fun with it and know and believe that you do have a chance, because you do. And part of the fun in playing the lottery, in my opinion, is that you can dream. It doesn't have to be a literal dream, but you have the right, by having a ticket, to dream
Yeah.
about the what if, what would you do, what will you do if you win,
Yeah.
because lightning can strike at any moment.
That's right. Very true. So now, you won a long time ago, and what are you doing now with yourself? What do you do with your time?
Well, I put a lot of my time into this podcast and this YouTube channel. Like
Yeah.
it's a labor of love, but I'm very passionate about it, and I I've grown it quite a bit. It's growing very quickly. I'm really happy about it, but I love it so much. So that's what I that's what I do with a lot of my time. I also am very much into sports, and I do kickboxing and Muay Thai, and I
Mm.
run quite a bit and go to the gym. So
Mm.
try to do that sort of thing. And for
You travel
people
a
like,
lot?
I once in a while,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I have traveled quite a bit. I
Mm.
travel when I can. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love traveling. I love traveling.
I wanted to also ask you, what advice would you give new lottery winners on how to kind of navigate all that, financial abundance, and how to kind of navigate maybe your relationships and navigate just your thought process definitely does change, because you no longer, if you don't want to, you no longer really have to go to work anymore, depending on how much you won. And you have a lot of time now to do things that you actually wanted to do or had a passion for. And what would you say to these people?
Well, that's an excellent question, and I think part of it depends on how much you win and where you win and how you were beforehand, what sort of how
Mm.
your finances were and how your peers are. So there's a lot of variables, but just generalizing, if you win a major lottery jackpot, generally speaking, I would say try to, after the euphoria wears off, because when you win, you're up here and
Yeah.
it's crazy, crazy, crazy. And then you come down to a new normal. And I can't speak for all lottery winners, but that was my experience. And
Yeah.
this is the experience of some of the other people that I've met. And so when you come to the new normal, I think it's important to try to keep your feet on the ground. Try to, if you want to be financially responsible, understand what sort of means, like,
Mm.
understand what you can and can't afford and live within
Mm.
that means, and just try to be happy. Try to use your time to
Mm.
pursue things that make you happy.
Mm.
And of course, first thing I think you should do for most, if it's a major prize, is get some financial advisors or people to help you behind the scenes that have been doing it for years and years, that have
Yeah.
experience and a track record with clients with similar amounts of money, is
Yeah.
very important. And it's really hard, at least it was for me and for a lot of people. They have a fear of trusting people. Who are you going to
Yeah.
trust with that sort of, like, how are you going to know that they're not going to take advantage of you? Because we see these horror stories in media, and that's a whole nother topic. But I think that it's still important to get people, to pursue people. And there's going to be no shortage of people that want to help you, that are qualified if you win a major lottery jackpot.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you have the luxury of shopping around, but it's important to keep your feet on the ground, to get experts to help you behind the scenes, to stay true to yourself, and to pursue what makes you happy. And another thing that I've learned that I think is important is to draw a line in the sand towards the beginning when you first win. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
when you first win, but towards the beginning sometime, and understand what you can and can't give for other people if you're the giving type. And
Mm,
then
mm,
lay that out for people to the extent that you want to. So that way it can help alleviate some of the people continually asking,
mm,
because
mm.
I found that it was really hard with people that I loved and cared about, that, as we spoke about earlier, that some of those couple of those,
Walking ATM.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent advice. Thank you for that. How can people find you? Because everyone watching my show needs to be watching your show.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm on YouTube at Timothy Schultz. You can also, Google the podcast name, Lottery, Dreams, and Fortune. I'm also on all of the major audio platforms. So if you're more into
Mm.
the listening, if you're more into listening to things rather than the visual, I'm on all of those platforms. So those are the two main places, or Timothy-Schultz.com. And, on all Instagram, TikTok, all those places too.
I love it. Keep doing what you're doing, because I love your show so much. Again, like I said, your show plays at my place constantly, just because I feel like it helps manifest, and it doesn't hurt. So, and it's great stories. I love the stories because all the stories are different, and it's so interesting, the different people winning and what they did with it or how it changed their life. And I just love hearing other people's stories about their journey. So it's great. So everyone listening and watching Luxe Life, please do listen, follow Tim. It's a great show. And it has a lot of numbers. It's fabulous. So keep doing what you're doing, because you're bringing a lot of hope and inspiration to people.
Oh, thank you very much, Candice. And
Yeah.
I love what you're doing too. So
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you very
Um,
much.
Yes. So please do check out Tim, check out his show. He is amazing. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. And we will see you all again next week. Bye, everybody.